Barbara J. Beckley, and I'm a visibility and social media strategist. Hello, everybody, and this is Barbara J. Beckley, and you are, if you've seen up top there, you're at the Coaches Lounge with myself, and where I spotlight some amazing, wonderful experts for advice for life and for business. And I always start off by saying the reason this particular show, podcast, TV streaming show originated, is because I noticed that there was not a lot of love given out to people that are educators, that are coaches, and that are mentors for others. Now, when you think about it, everybody that's out there doing a business or just doing life in general needs a coach in certain areas. And those people stick with you through thick and thin. I mean, through the hard times, through the down times, through the, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Let me stop my life type of thing. Should I just stop my business? And that coach is continuously saying, no, you need to keep going. You have a special gift in you. You know, I always say that. That's one of my coaching tools is you got a special gift in you. You have to let that out. You have to understand that it's a need. You need to serve others with the gift that you have. That's what I tell my clients over and over and over again. So they're always in the background, cheering you on, giving you tips, giving you things to do, things to stretch you over and over again. You know, I know a lot of people, they're like, they're stretching me some more. But you know what? When you get stretched and pulled, it's like you're pulling out more and more of what you can give to others. So we got to give them some love. And that's why I created the show, because I want to bring on the coaches and experts that you can meet. You can get to know their personality. You can get to know what they do for others. And guess what? I don't tell people anymore. I suggest to reach out to these wonderful coaches. So today I have a wonderful, amazing, and let's just say this celebrity coach that I'm bringing on. I'm very vulnerable. I always open. I say what I have to say here because I believe in honesty. I've been trying to get him on the show for a while, and I made a mistake because I think I was sick or something. What happened? And I missed him. And then it took another year to get him back. So let's just do a teachable moment here. When you can get a celebrity, I don't care if you got a headache or a stomachache or whatever's going on, try to get through it because you never know those opportunities might not come back. But I'm so glad that this opportunity came back to interview this wonderful. You know, I call the women queens, and I call the men kings. This king in our life, he's a lighthouse to the world for people. His name is Ovidilio Vasquez, and he is a national leadership keynote speaker, author, and social entrepreneur whose works inspires visionary leaders across industries, empowering educators and development for, and this is what I really love what he does, for the youth. Now, he has worked at Apple, Tesla, Salesforce, can ring some of those companies a bell, 500, come on now. Those are companies up there, right? He's a TEDx speaker, and the list goes on. He's been on many, many, many studios, TV shows, and it's endless. And all I have to say to me is I feel so honored, very honored to have him on the Coaches Lounge. So with no further ado, we're going to do this one reel tape, and then we're going to bring on Mr. Obie to make sure that we learn and take notes, because you're going to want to take notes. There we are. I love technology because you can just go anywhere and be everywhere and bring the people into your world. So, Mr. Obie, first of all, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you on the Coaches Lounge.
It's my honor. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. And, I want to say, give a little backstory about us. We met through another organization that I'm a part of, that I've been a part of. Ooh, it's been a long time. I feel like yeah, there's a big anniversary coming for me. I feel like I've been married to this organization for a while. Toastmasters has been 18 years for me right now. And Mr. Obie came into our club one day, and that was just it. He got me with, "Hello, I'm Obie, and I'm here just to, just to see what's all this club's all about." Now, it was interesting because he came into, because it's a professional club that we have under Toastmasters, and when I heard him speak and give the feedback that he was giving to us, I was like, "What are you doing here? You don't even belong here. We need to be under you. You need to start a club and have us you be teaching us." And I always tell people, I don't just say that to anybody, but when he came in and did everything he did, I was like, wow, wow. Um, and the love that he has and the heart of gold that he has for the youth. I mean, he teaches leaders and everything else, but right now, I love what he's doing because the youth needs someone like this person right here, Obie. So, Obie, I want you to first explain, because you have a wonderful backstory of how you became what you're doing now, being on these big stage and everything. Can you just give us a little taste of that before we get into some other things that you do coaching wise?
Absolutely, yes. And once again, Barbara, I cannot thank you enough for this opportunity. I do not take it lightly, and my goal is to make this the most valuable either interview or podcast that someone listens to. They're gonna say, "Holy cannoli, how come I haven't listened to this?" Well, in short, my story is I'm a farm boy who was born and raised in the sugarcane fields of Guatemala. And so my joke about that is that because I speak with an accent, I say, "Hi, my name is Ovi and I'm from Watermelon." And people say, "What country is that?" And so that's the whole point, that I speak with an accent and I'm from Guatemala and I was born and raised there without electricity until I was 8 years old. The fast forward success part of the story is that I came to the US as a teenager, was able to learn English, graduated high school within 3 years, graduated college within 2 years, published 6 books before I was 27 years old. And I worked for Apple, Tesla, Salesforce, Uber, and I was able to live a very contrasted life, if that is a word, because I lived in a very much rural sort of a situation. I never met my dad. And then I'm fast forwarding to living into the United States as an immigrant, working in warehouse, dead end jobs, gas stations, construction work, and any job I could get. Then being able to travel all around the country, being paid to share just my story. I haven't discovered any new science. I haven't gone to the moon and back. I think I don't have any chance to go into Mars. So so that's the whole point, that we can inspire youth. Because when I had an office on the 27th floor of Salesforce, I decided, when I was looking out my window and I could overlook the entire San Francisco Bay Area, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna quit this job, and I'm going to go and share with the youth how they could achieve their own dream. And so I felt a calling in my heart and in my soul that I needed to quit this job, which was great and all, but I wanted to help others. I wanted to show them how it is that I discover the pathway to achieve these very nice, lucrative opportunities that I had encountered. And so it was all through 3 steps, which have to do lots with hard work.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the biggest thing is hard work, and you have done all of that. I just look at you and I look at persistence. You were very persistent from the age, like you said, at a young age, living, on another continent and then coming over to a whole new world, having to learn, another language. And you did it just like this. I mean, you just, it's just amazing. I mean, I've been speaking English since I was a baby. I'm still messing up on English. And you come over from a whole other country and get it down pat. I was like, okay, there's no excuse. No excuse.
There is no excuse. And I like to show, I've got here a stack of checks. For those that may not be watching the video, I'm showing on camera a stack of checks. There's like over 100 checks with all this what I've collected for deciding to answer my calling to help the youth, and then being compensated for it. The biggest check I've got here is for $25,000, and then the smaller check I have here is for $150, because when you get started, you don't get paid the thousands, right? And so yes, that is truly That is truly the synopsis of the story, and we would love to dive into how everyone who is listening and watching right now could duplicate the same thing. Because I've realized now at this point, Barbara, that I cannot help all the youth out there. I need a larger group of people helping the youth, and so therefore, if you are not part of my team directly, at least I want to give you the tools, the strategies, and everything that you need so that you could do this on your own and through your own personal story. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be extravagantly rich or anything like that, because I am not any of those things. And still live your dream of traveling all across the nation, all across the world, sharing your unique story that has something helpful to inspire the youth, so that they can help something from it and go through their own challenges. And then you're going to receive financial compensation for it, which is what I've discovered how to do over and over again.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those checks look really nice. I just want to let you know that's a good, like, okay, let's
And
hear
if
you. Let's talk.
I got for 15,000, I've got for 10,000, for 13,000, for 8,000. I've got so many. I don't know how come I decided not to collect them from the very beginning. This is only in the last 2 years.
Wow.
This is crazy, right?
But you know what? Let's go back. I want to go back a little bit before you start telling us how to, like you said, your story and position your story first. I know there's two main tips that you want to go over, but I just want to get your take, because you decided to basically focus. And I think that's another interesting thing. Focus on something that you have a passion about, and that is the youth. And like you said, like you just said, you can't reach all of them, so you need different people that has that same passion. So
Correct.
was the passion that came from that is because of when you were growing up and dealing with something that you dealt with, you just said, okay, I'm just in it with the passion with the youth.
Well, when I decided to answer my calling to help the youth when I was in Salesforce in San Francisco, I decided that I wanted to help the English learners in high school, because that was the most challenging time for me when I was in high school. That I had just arrived to the United States. It was a new culture, a new system, a new language, a new environment, entirely new country, right? And so I lived in a garage for 8 years. All throughout high school, I worked in a warehouse from 7 p.m. to 2 in the morning. I didn't have very many friends, and so I thought in the moment that I could go and help the English learners how to overcome the things that I went through, which is not fitting in, failing your classes, not understanding your teachers, trying to figure out the credit system here, because where I came from, it doesn't work that way. And so very basic things, anybody can say this is very basic, yes, but for the youth in the moment when they're going through the struggle, for them it's the most crucial thing to figure out. And so therefore I decided to do that. And then the long story short is that once I did the first presentation, the students went to tell their parents about this guy that came in to speak, and I gave this presentation for free. It was only my story. There was no strategy, there was no tools, there was no like Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, nothing like that, right? It was just me, a $60 cell phone, no microphone, and just talking. And so then the parents, then they went to talk to the other schools, because parents usually tend to have kids in different ages. So I went to the high school, and then the parent went to tell the middle school, that where she had a middle school kid, and say, hey, my son loved this guy who came and told his story. You should bring him to this school also. And so that's how the journey began. And so then I began speaking to teachers. I began speaking to principals. I began speaking to superintendents. I began speaking at a statewide conference. I began speaking at national conferences. And this is nonstop. There's over 100,000 public schools in the United States, and there's over 5,000 colleges in the United States. So I literally want to help others start this journey too, because if I passed away tomorrow, which I think I'm going to live over 100, but if I passed away tomorrow, at least I gave you all the tools so that you can continue helping the youth just like I am doing right now.
Well, I'm glad that you dug a little deeper into that, because you used a strategy. That's what I was looking at that you were talking about. I liked how you just said it was just you, your story, your phone, and talking to the youth. So you knew where the heart needed to go, and that was the heart, because you understood what they were dealing with. You
Yes.
understood the struggles. they felt that. So I always tell people, when you can get people to understand your story, and then they can say, oh, wait a minute, he knows what I'm going through, especially as
Mm,
a youth person, because there's so many things going on with the youth right now. I mean, I just be doing prayers and prayers and just
it
hoping
is
and
sad.
praying. It's, yeah, it is. It really is. And they have to grow up. So a lot of them have to grow up so fast in certain situations. And I love how basically got to their heart, and they went and told their parents. Then their parents like, okay, well, their parents probably, wait, what's going on? Who is this person? And then, so it's just like this snowball effect. And it got you in the rooms. So, that's again going back to your passion. You connected with the youth. They connected with their parents saying, I need something. So it was almost like they say, I need him, or what the things that he understood us, he needs to be in other places.
Yes, that is correct. And
Yeah.
so I only identified the things that I went through when I was learning English. And then as the opportunities grew, then I began identifying other things that could be helpful as well. For example, that I grew up without a father, and so then I leveraged that. I leveraged that point of my life where I could connect with the youth, because as they are listening to your story, that you went to these struggles, maybe they're thinking in their head, "Yeah, dude, but you had a father." And then I tell them, I never met my dad. He was actually killed when I was born. And then they're like, oh my God, you also don't have a dad like me? Or, oftentimes, they're asking themselves, yeah, man, but you got a cool car and everything. And then I show them a picture of a $700 car that I used to drive when I was in school, and let them know the police took it away from me twice because I was driving my car without a driver's license, because I couldn't get one, because not only was I a teenager, but I was also undocumented immigrant, meaning I couldn't get a driver's license legally. And so for them, they say, okay, dude, so you really went to this struggle, like what you were saying. And so, uh, as you begin to, so those of you that are listening and watching to this interview right now, as you begin to identify, what did I struggle most in my growing up journey, those are the very things that the youth need to hear. What did you do with it? What was your mindset about it? What tools do you think now could help somebody in the exact same situation? And so for me, it was, this is how I learned English quickly. This is how I graduated high school quickly. This is how I was able to understand the language. This is what I did when I failed biology class because I couldn't speak English, and then I aced it again when I retook it again. And so the very things that you have struggled with, the very things that sometimes make you feel worthless, are the very thing that make you worthy of starting this journey of making an impact in others in a positive way.
Yes. Oh, so true. And like I said, you resonated with them, and I think that's the biggest thing. Going back to, I'm going to talk a little bit more about positioning your story, is meaning that you can connect with people. I know that's one biggest thing when we talk about stories, when you're telling your story. Because I always tell people, I think I'm trying to figure out which, this just went in my head, out of my head, but there was one powerful motivational speaker out there, and he's always like, he said, you tell a story, a point, or you're going to tell a point, you tell a story. Because everybody, I don't care what age you are, man or woman, whatever, we love hearing stories. We just love hearing stories, and we put ourselves in those stories. So I believe that, like you said, everything you said about you not having your dad, and you really struggling and have to get this education and prove the point who you are. There's a lot of young youth dealing with the same kind of concept, and they're like, you get me here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
go a little bit into positioning your stories, since we're talking
Let's
about
do it.
stories right now.
Yes, absolutely. And so then, well, it's great to have a dream, but you have to have a strategy parallel to the dream so that you can make that dream a reality. In this case, I wanted to make the dream of becoming a motivational speaker a reality as a paid motivational speaker, a youth speaker, an inspirational speaker. There are so many labels, right? Keynote speaker, and so many labels. And so the story I first positioned it with, I went to I went to school and I say, hey, I would love to share my story how I learned English and graduated high school, so I can talk to the youth about that. When I began positioning my story to speak to the educators, I said, hey, I was an English learner in high school. I want to talk to you educators, some of the things they could do so that they can better help those English learners that they may have in their classroom. Now, not every teacher has English learners in their classroom. So
Mhm.
then you have to then, add a little bit more to your story, so that they still think that they need you, because they're like, okay, I don't have an English learner, so we don't need you, right? And this, so then you use another layer to your story. You say, hey, by the way, you may not have English learners in your classroom, but you might have some Latinos, some Hispanics on there. And there are Latinos and Hispanics everywhere, even if they're not English learners, correct? So, and you may say, well, I'm not even Hispanic, I'm a Caucasian, or I'm African American, or whatever, however you see yourself.
Mhm.
So then the other layer that you could leverage is, hey, I can help you how to better connect with students who are first generation, going into college, because maybe that is your situation. Or you say, well, dude, my parents went to college, I'm not first generation anymore. Well, in that case, you could say, I can better help your students how they can better prepare themselves, to their college of their dream, or the strategies so that they can continue their education farther.
Mhm.
Now, one theme that you're going to see overarching here is the importance of always emphasizing education, because the schools are not going to pay you to come tell the students to not go to school, point blank. Now, many entrepreneurs, I'm an entrepreneur myself, I'm sure many that are watching and listening to this interview are entrepreneurs and don't believe in the formal education sort of route. I found myself that it did help me tremendously. The checks that I was showing for the last 2 years, almost $500,000, I think it did something good to my life. Given that most people these days, they say, college education is worthless, it's just a piece of paper. It changed my life tremendously. And so you always are going to advocate for what worked for you. Now, that means also that when you're saying to the students, hey, education is important, you can literally just say that as a general sense. Education is important, meaning they could go to technical school. They could get education on entrepreneurship to start their own business. But the point is, when you're trying to impact the youth, largely you're going to be compensated. So the person who's going to write the check is going to be some school district or some conference related to education for the youth. So you have to agree with the fact that education is important, and share that message through your own struggle. Maybe you were bullied in school. I
Mhm.
wasn't bullying in school, because I wouldn't allow anyone to bully me. People tried to bully me, but it didn't happen so I cannot share that point. But what if you were bullied, or if you yourself were a bully, then
Mhm.
you can literally go and say, hey, if you're dealing with a bully, I used to be a bully, and if you do these things, I think you would be, you would be in a better situation.
Mhm.
Those things are so valuable. I've spoken to elementary school kids, and that was never ever my intention. I
Wow.
wanted to speak to English learners in high school. And
Mhm.
so I'm thinking, what am I gonna say to these little kids?
Yes.
So I go to the little kids and I say, "Hi everyone, how's everybody doing today?" And they're like, "Good." I say, "Let's try excellent." And they say, "How's everybody doing today?" "Excellent." All right. I say, "Who's feeling happy today?" "I am." And I say, "And I want you to say, I feel happy today. I feel happy today." So then in that case, you have to keep in mind positioning your story again, because the parents, they want to know, like, what kind of speaker is coming to my school and talking about what,
Yeah.
right? So then I only focus on what, if I have 3 kids myself, what would I be okay teaching my kids? And
Mhm.
mainly is about believing in themselves, and
Mhm.
about them being smart, and about them being very valuable. So I only talk about self-esteem, self-confidence, and the fact that they, that they are very valuable to be there.
Mhm.
So then, I talk about, who here has a pet? This little guy, he says, I have a shark. I'm thinking, like, who has a pet shark? He had a like a plush shark, right?
Oh, okay. I was about
Now,
to say, whoa.
yeah, exactly. And so, just to make a point, and then, I traveled to a national conference,
Yeah.
1,200 educators from all over the nation, and I'm speaking to them how we could better help the students that are learning 2 languages, right? So they're like bilingual immersion, and this doesn't necessarily mean English learners. These could be students that are learning English and Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, or or English and French. The whole point is bilingualism. But I want to share that you position your story based on how the client is looking for the presenter. Is
Yeah.
the client looking for a presenter that will emphasize bilingualism?
Mhm.
Are you a bilingual? Yes. Are you a bilingual? No. Okay, you're not a bilingual. What about this? What about you can go and share your story, how it could have helped you big time if you were bilingual? You see, your story is so valuable that you can leverage it in either way.
Like that.
You could say, hey, I'm bilingual and this is why it's great. Or you could say, look, I had never had the opportunity to have been bilingual, and this is how I think it could have benefited me. So you guys are doing great work for helping the students. Or if you're talking to students, you say, and this is why it's important that you continue to learn two languages, because I think blah, blah, blah. And then you share your points, right? You share your points. The other positioning statement to your story is, whenever you're speaking to the person who has the authority to hire you or invite you to speak, then you always want to ask them very strategic questions, such as, what is the theme of this event? What is the main reason why you're putting on this event? Whoever it is for, they have a theme, they have a goal, they have one whole message that they want to come across. They want to bring across the audience, whether it's youth or adults. And so they tell me, we want to talk about the importance of going to college, or we want to talk about the importance of having great character. I have a presentation, and anybody who's watching or listening to this, they can Google it. It is called The 6 Pillars of Character. And so that presentation is accepted by almost any organization throughout the US, and you can do a presentation about it. You can pitch it to every school district that you want, every youth related event and organization, and it is likely they're going to say yes.
Yes.
I just gave you guys like a whole business right there.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to say that. What did I say at the beginning of this interview? Piece of paper and a pen. I hope people are taking notes. And the nice thing about this is when this is showing, you can look at it over and over and over again and watch this wonderful, wonderful Obie tell you what to do. So I feel like, and that's just, you just did like what, 10 minutes and stuff like that. Oh my God.
I'm trying to compress 9 years of learning
into 15 minutes. Yes. Obie, don't do that. You got too much good experience. You got to get hired to do that.
I want them to understand that, if I pass tomorrow, they'll be like, oh, that guy, he did something good in this world.
Well, you know what? Okay, well, first of all, I don't want to go you passing tomorrow, but if
no, I won't.
You have left so much legacy. Just to let you know, you have left so much so far. I mean, now you're going to do so much more, but just teaching us how stories are important, teaching us how to leverage a story. I love how you stated before I know we have to wrap up, but I love how you stated positioning, depending on what the need is. Like you said, that's important too. Because I was just even thinking about your story can hit so many different platforms. I was even thinking when you were talking about it, even diversity. You could tell us diversity. I mean, because like you said, we're what's a non-Caucasian person? There's a whole lot of others. There's Black, there's, like you said, Hispanic, there's Chinese. All those people you could talk about how they struggle a little bit different. I'm just gonna put it out there than the norm. And you can talk about that because I always tell people, well, my mother used to tell me this all the time, Obie. Just what she told me when I was growing up. She said, you're going to have to work extra harder, Barbara. She said, first of all, you're Black and then you're a woman and you're going to have to work harder. And before I was just like, well, I thought I was already working hard. But she said, no, you got to do a little extra. And that's why she was always on me. She was like a sergeant to me. And she was giving me reality. She was telling me what was really going on in the world. And I'm so glad she did that because that ingrained in me to be like what you do, Obie. You're a hard worker. You're persistent in what you do. And you have to hit those marks. And you're teaching the youth the same way, especially like you said, the diversity, people in diversity, as understanding that, hey, you gotta have this and you got to keep going and you got to show up. So I love the different presentations that you do.
Oh yes. No, and thank you for enforcing that, because everyone that is listening and watching to this, they really need to understand it to the point that this is it. Most people say, but what else do I got to do? Nothing. This is it. It's the same thing when I go talk to the students. I say there are 3 keys for you to succeed in school. Number 1, you've got to show up. Number 2, you've got to show up every day. Number 3, when you show up, all you have to do is do the work. And they're like, that's it? Yeah, that's it. What else do you want? That's it. I live in the garage by myself. My mom brought me to the United States and then left me alone in the garage. She went back to my village in Guatemala. Wow. I came from a village. Until 17 years old, I never touched a computer because I grew up without electricity. And
Wow.
in the school that I went to school, first through sixth grade in Guatemala, there is still no computers to this day. And I lived in the United States for 16 years now. And my goal now is to send computers over there. I already talked to the teachers and we have a plan. But
That's good.
yes, Barbara, so for
Mhm.
those that are listening, have a pen ready. First thing you've got to do, maybe join Toastmasters. Is a great organization. You can go give a 3 to 5 minute speech at the beginning and then a little bit longer speeches. You just need one speech. That one speech, you have to make one video, 3 minutes long, 2 to 5 minutes at most, and then send that video to every youth related organization, every school district, every school, every youth. There are so many that I cannot count right now, and send it to them and say, here are my message. For example, we were talking about diversity. They call it diversity, equity, and inclusion. I went to a Michigan university. They pay me $8,000 to go and share my story, and I only talk for 1 hour. And they feed you, and they pay the travel, and they pay for everything. And it's a 8,000. It was $8,250 for
Mhm.
going one day,
For one.
talk for 1 hour, share
Wow.
my story
Your
with the
story.
faculty and with the staff. Now, if you go to Texas, I cannot say that this presentation is for Hispanics as an example. It's got to be for everyone. So then the presentation can be about the 6 pillars of character. There's no organization that says no to that presentation. The only reason why they're going to say no is because maybe they don't have the budget, it's not the right timing, or it's just they have other plans. But the presentation itself,
Mhm.
for any age group,
Mm.
if you want to share your story and you don't know where to start, you can use that first as a door opener, and they're
Mm.
going to say, yeah, I love it. Anything related about leadership also, you
Mm.
say the 3 leadership things my grandpa
You
gave
taught
me
me.
or taught me. Yeah, the 3 leadership lessons that I've learned throughout my last 10 years in nursing. Maybe you're a nurse, you want to share that, I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, so there are so many ways, and I hope everyone that is following Barbara, comments on our health social medias, and ask all the questions, because I'll be happy to expand on this some more. And if you're like, we want this guy again, and these are the questions that we have, maybe then we go like a rotten robin sort of
Yeah.
question answer, question answer, question answer, and I'll give you guys all the tips. You can make a website on Wix, but to get started, you don't need a website.
Mm-hmm.
You literally
Wow.
only need that one video. You
Yeah.
just need one
Yeah.
video
One
and
video.
your email account to send it to all the people. And
Wow.
and
Good
it's a
stuff.
numbers game, right? Send it
Oh,
to an organization, and a few of them will say yes.
oh my God. See, I want to ask so bad, can I bring you back? But I'm going to take a while because I got to get on your list. This
We'll
is,
make
I
it
mean,
happen
this is
as soon
like
as
a part
possible.
two, yeah, that we need to talk about. So amazing. So everybody, please take down these notes. Ovi, he is amazing. He's a celebrity. I mean, he's not saying it. I'm saying it for him, but he's a celebrity out there. He's teaching people basically to be persistent, do your hard work, and he's making it simple. A lot of times, I want to say this real quickly before I give him a little time to say any lasting thoughts. A lot of times we make things difficult, and that's called procrastination. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm just going to put it out there. We procrastinate because we want things so perfect, 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 perfect. Or, you're just like, oh, I got to do everything what everybody else does. Just make it simple. Ovi talked about the whole thing, and it was really just points that you have to do. One video, send it out.
Yes.
It's not like you have to do a lot. So, with that, sir, I'm going to take myself down just for a little bit, and I want you to just give me any lasting thoughts to the audience. I'll be right back.
Let's do it. So, everyone, if you feel in your heart a calling to share with others the journey that you've been through and the things that have helped you all along the way, please make it so that you take action, and make it a mission for you to share with others this message and these lessons that you've learned, so that they too can overcome and open up a pathway for themselves, so that they can live their dreams and achieve all their goals. We want to make sure that we leave a legacy while we are still alive, not when we're already passed away. So I would love for you to embark on the journey. And so again, you just need one video, send it to as many organizations as you can. Follow up on that, and when you're ready to make a website, just make it on Wix. And when you're ready to take payments, just use an app like any invoicing app that you can use. I use Wave apps. And then when you're ready to make a more robust system, you can use a CRM, any CRM. I use one that's called SalesMate, and repeat the process over again. And I hope that you can help me impact millions and millions of lives because the youth need us. I remember how much I needed mentors and coaches and people that would just listen to me and guide me along the way because I didn't have a role model in my household that was a father figure, so to say. And so now we get to do that for others. And what a wonderful thing that is. My favorite quote: if you inspire others to do more, to be more, and to become more, you are a leader. That quote is by John Quincy Adams, the 6th president of the United States of America.
Wow. Ovi, I can listen to you all day. That's why I be checking you on LinkedIn and everywhere else. Believe me, I told you that at the beginning of this, before we came online, that I was like, I watch you. You are my mentor. And I just thank you so much. And I give you so much honor, like I said, helping out the youth and showing them that they can do it. They just need to do the work and they just need to be strategic in it. So thank you, sir. And like I said, hopefully we can get you back on the Coaches Lounge. Anybody, if you need to reach, if I'm asking, I tell people to reach out to my guests, but I'm going to be nice. I'm suggesting to reach out to Obie. You've learned, I know you've grown from this interview. And again, I just want everybody to know that everybody has a special gift in them. Like Obie said, we all have that special gift in us, no matter who we are in this world. We were put on this earth for a reason, not just put here and look at each other. We were put on this earth to make sure that we basically build ourselves up, just like Obie did, and then take that knowledge, take that experience, and give it to others that need it. Be a lighthouse. As I say, be a lighthouse to the world. With that said, this is the Coaches Lounge with myself, Barbara J. Beckley, and we will see you next time on the next Coaches Lounge show. You take care.
Introducing the Diamond Factor Network, where we turn your business into a beacon of success. Imagine having your TV streaming show reaching audiences far and wide. It's possible with the Diamond Factor Network. Unlock the power of your brand with our state-of-the-art TV streaming platform. Your show, your way. Feature highlights, customized shows, global reach, and professional support. Coaching by Barbara J. Beckley, purpose, visibility, and social media strategist. Ready to elevate your brand? Join the Diamond Factor Network today and let your brilliance light up the world. Shine bright because your success is our